was sitting around thinking about a Pokemon Nuzlocke theme. I was scrolling through social media and came across a video about furries. That sparked an idea. So I decided to do a Google search on what defines a furry. And during my search, I discovered that all animals could be considered furries. It was like I was going to undertake an ordinary Nuzlocke. I googled again to find out the top 5 most popular fursonas. So according to Wikipedia, under the wikifur category, the top 5 are fox, wolf, any breed of dogs, and surprisingly a dragon. Wait, what? And a cat. So how come a dragon became a furry? It doesn't even have a furry at all. Well, let's consider it then. Now, to assemble the rules, the furries I'm going to use in my furry run, it must be in the top 5. It has to be bipedal and have arms. Of course. For the dragon category, I'll be using dragon Pokemon that are like typical dragons. They must stand on 2 legs and have wings. And don't forget our standard Pokemon Hardcore Nuzlocke rules. The Pokemon faints, it is boxed for the rest of its life. No healing items in battle. Can't pass the level of the gym leader's ace Pokemon. Battle was always in set mode. I can only use Mega Evolution if someone activates theirs. The journey begins in Pokemon Y, where we name our heroine Jean. Our starter of choice is none other than Fennekin, whom we name Lester. Lester has a mild nature, which boosts special attack and lowers defense. Perfect nature for a special attacker like Lester. However, we are not allowed to use Lester yet, because he walks on 4 legs, so in the meantime he has to stay in the box. On Route 22, we catch a puppy that stands on 2 legs, and her name is Cherry. She has a quiet nature, which increases special attack and decreased speed. Before heading to the gym, I ran around the city to build our friendship with Cherry. After beating up a ladybug, she evolved into a Lucario. Now it's time to face Viola and her bug types. She sends out Surskit, and I sent out Cherry. Cherry opens with Faint, but Surskit opts for rather useless water sport. Cherry then uses Quick Attack, matched by Surskit's Quick Attack. The next turn, Viola heals Surskit with a potion. I respond with another Quick Attack, followed by a critical hit Faint from Cherry. One more Faint from Cherry knocks out Surskit, and Viola sends out her ace, Vivillon. This is where it gets tense. Vivillon uses Infestation, causing Cherry to lose a small fraction of HP every turn. Now I'm on a timer here. I need to defeat Vivillon quickly. I continue to use Quick Attack to inflict more damage on Vivillon. It was a nail-biting moment when Cherry's HP dropped to 7, and a tackle from Vivillon reduced it further to 5. Fortunately, at that turn, Infestation ended. One last Quick Attack helped us secure our first gym badge. Ain't no way you're gonna date a minor.
FBI, open up!
At Professor Sycamore's lab, we get a not-so-furry friend, a Charmander, and I named him Jansen. He has a brave nature, which increases attack and decreases speed, and Jansen will have to stay in the box for a while. With a new level cap, we can take Lester out of the box and evolve him into Abrasion. On Route 6, we find a Grey Cat and named her Marjorie, and she has a neutral hardy nature. Back on Route 5, we catch a yellow fox and name him Carlo. He has a bold nature, increasing defense and decreasing attack. A not so good nature for an Abra. Isn't it nice to see fireworks at night? At Route 10, we get our next furry encounter, a pink bulldog. We name our bulldog to Opao, and it has a jolly nature, plus speed and minus special attack. Inside the Sillage City gym, I was caught by surprise by this trainer who has a soul rock, who ended up destroying Lester with a rock throw. What was I thinking phasing off a fire type to a rock? It's time to face Gym Leader Grant with his team of extinct Pokemon. It's Amora versus Cherry. With one stab quad effective power-up punch on Amora knocks it out in one hit. Grant's last Pokemon, a Tyrant, and it only takes 2 power-up punches. Second gym is done. After the battle, Carlo evolves into a Kadabra. Opao also evolves into an even more angrier Bulldog, a Granbull. Marjorie won't be left behind as it also evolves into a glamorous cat, Meowstick. Time to wipe these clowns off our sight. Before heading to Reflection Cave, Gym Leader Corina challenges to a battle with her 2 Lucarios. Opao had an easy fight thanks to having an early access to Bulldoze. The gang is all here in the Mega Evolution Tower to witness our first battle with Callum, to see who has the right to obtain the Mega Evolution. Callum begins the fight with his Meowstic and I send out Opao. It only takes 2 bites from Opao to take out Meowstic. The next Pokemon, Absol, that forces Opao to eat his berry. A charm from Opao to send out Cherry. With 2 power punches from Absol takes it out. Thanks to the attack boost, we can take out Frogadier with a 1-hit KO return. We now enter this wonderful skate park, the Shalar City Gym. Time to have a showdown with its gym leader Corina and her fighting type Pokemon. Corina starts off with the Mienfoo and I go for Marjorie. Marjorie, who has a huge advantage for being a psychic type, though Marjorie went on a killing spree using Psy Shocks, winning as our 3rd gym badge. On top of the Mega Evolution Tower, Corina puts on her game face as we engage in a Lucario vs Lucario battle. They both Mega Evolve our Furries, and I secure my victory. One of her Lucario expresses a desire to join us, but unfortunately, we already have a Lucario in our team. Nonetheless, I gave it the nickname Ezio. Thanks for the surf. We got a lucky egg from this girl to help us level up our fairy friends faster. This guy gave us a good rod, but I won't be using it, because there's no such thing as a furry fish. An embargo TM from this lady. We also receive an HM fly from Professor Sycamore, and we found a very useful leftovers. Callum challenges us to another battle. I will only be needing Opao for this battle. I challenge the old man holding a large scissors, Ramos, with his team of grass-type Pokemon. He sends out Jumpluff and I go for Opao. Jumpluff outspeeds with an acrobatics, dealing minimal damage. Opao goes for a Thunder Wave to paralyze it. On the next turn, Opao outspeeds to use Charm, and Jumpluff continues with acrobatics. Another Charm from Opao to lower the attack, and another acrobatics from Jumpluff. On the next turn, I sent out Cherry and Jumpluff got paralyzed. I boosted Cherry's attack by 3 Swords Dance, and I took out Jumpluff and Go-Goat with a return. His last Pokemon, Weepinbell, who I tried using Bone Rush, but sadly it missed Weepinbell. Weepinbell retaliates with a Grass Knot. On the next turn, Cherry's Bone Rush connects, knocks out Weepinbell, granting us our 4th gym badge. At Route 13, the Lumiose Badlands, one of the most annoying areas in Kalos region. We proceed to the Kalos power plant as we have a task to wipe off Team Flare. When the level cap reaches to 37, we can take out Jansen out of the box to make him evolve into a Dragon Charizard. Though Charizard is in a Dragon type, Charizard is 100% looks like a dragon. You can ask the Johto champion Lance for that. Back at Lumiose City, we can see the huge tower light up at night. Now let's climb all the way from this tower and beat this family feud contest.
Everybody feels better now.
We are now up against the boy genius Clement, the 5th gym leader with his electric types. The face-off begins with Emolga versus Opao. Predicting that Emolga will use Volt Switch to Magneton, Opao uses Bulldoze, and I was right. However, Magneton survives the Bulldoze thanks to Sturdy. On the next turn, I switch to Marjorie while Clement uses a Hyper Potion to fully heal Magneton. Marjorie uses Fake Out to nullify the effects of Sturdy, followed up by Marjorie setting up Light Screen and Magneton set up Electric Terrain. I then switch to Cherry, who gets hit by a Thunderbolt, reducing her health by half. It would be down by red if it wasn't for Light Screen. Cherry uses Dig to finish off Magneton. Clement sends out his Haste, Heliolisk. Cherry outspeeds with Dig, and by the end of the turn, both Light Screen and Electric Terrain fades. On the next turn, we see Heliolisk survive a Dig, and Heliolisk hits Cherry with a Thunderbolt, sending it to the red. Clement uses another Hyper Potion, while I opt for Power Up Punch. Anticipating a quick attack, I switch back to Marjorie. Marjorie defeats Heliolisk with a priority Fake Out. His last Pokemon, Emolga, re-enters. Marjorie sets up another Light Screen as Emolga goes for a Volt Switch. I switch back to Opao, and with just 2 strains, we manage to defeat Clement, earning us our 5th gym badge. Why don't we just put that $5 million to my bank account?
I like money.
Callum yet again challenges us to another battle, but we remain unstoppable with a good tag team of Opao and Cherry. And for that, Callum didn't stand a chance. You ain't getting any tips this time, buddy. Before we go further in our journey, we went shopping to look for a furry costume, but we end up looking like Mary Poppins. The 6th gym is like a reference from Alice in Wonderland. What makes Valerie more creepy is she is standing still while lifting both of her arms in the air like a scarecrow. The battle for the 6th gym begins with Gym Leader Valerie in her fairy types. She sends out Mowile and I send out Jansen the Charizard. Jansen quickly one-shots Mowile with a stab, super effective Flame Burst. Valerie sends out Mr. Mime and I switch to Marjorie, and Mr. Mime follows up with a Reflect. On the following turn, Marjorie uses Fake Out. Marjorie then hits with Shadow Ball, reducing Mr. Mime to yellow health. Mr. Mime then sets up Light Screen. On the next turn, Marjorie uses Light Screen as Mr. Mime starts to attack with Dazzling Gleam. I switch to Cherry, who is hit by Mr. Mime's attack, just as Reflect ends. Cherry defeats Mr. Mime with one return. Valerie's last Pokemon, her ace, Sylveon, enters the fray. Cherry lands a super effective Poison Jab, cutting Sylveon's HP in half. Sylveon uses Charm to lower Cherry's attack. Cherry responds with Swords Dance to restore her attack to normal. Sylveon opts for Dazzling Gleam, but one final Poison Jab does the job, securing our 6th gym badge. Inside the Pokeball factory, we defeated all the members of Team Flare, and the owner gave us a Master Ball as a reward. Team Flare is causing troubles again inside the Frost Cavern, and it's up to me and Trevor to fight Team Flare. Harry one-shots Mabel of Team Flare's over-leveled Houndoom with an Aura Spear. A big thanks to this Mammothline. We can now traverse to the snowy path leading to Anistar City. Callum challenges us to another Pokemon battle. We send out his Meowstic and Opal faces it. Meowstic gets an Intimidate, but Meowstic doesn't care because it's a special attacker. Meowstic proceeds with a priority Fake Out, flinching Opal. Meowstic goes for Shadow Ball and Opal hits it with a Bite. A disarming voice from Meowstic and Opal ends it with another Bite. His next Pokemon is Flareon. I then switch out to Jansen, and Jansen gets hit by a Bite. Jansen hits Flareon with a Bulldoze, sending Flareon to half, and also lowering Flareon's speed. Flareon goes for an ineffective Lava Plume, and another Bulldoze from Jansen defeats it. Greninja has been sent out. I switch out to Opal, knowing it would use Water Shuriken, but got hit by Dark Pulse instead. Greninja outspeeds with an ineffective Dark Pulse, and Opal retaliates with one stab super effective Play Rough. His last Pokemon is Absol, who hits Opal with a stab critical Night Slash. One last Play Rough beatdown defeats Callum. We now enter in space to challenge Olympia in her Psychic types. The battle begins with her Sigalef and I go for Marjorie. Marjorie starts with a priority Fake Out, causing Sigalef to flinch. On the next turn, both of us set up Light Screens. Then I switch to Cherry while Sigalef puts up Reflect. I manage to set up 3 Swords Dance, maxing Cherry's attack, who endures repeated psychic attacks with minimal damage thanks to Light Screen. With her attack to the max, Cherry sweeps through Olympia's entire team using a super effective Shadow Claw, earning us our 7th gym badge. Outside the Anistar City Gym, Callum arrives to challenge us to another battle. But a surprising call from Team Flare leader, Lysander, who made an announcement that he will destroy the world using his ultimate weapon. Well, glad that scares you away. Before we proceed to Team Flare hideout to stop their evil plans, I've done some little errands like planting berries and stealing heart scales from loot discs. We head back to Lumio City and went inside Team Flare's hideout when we are greeted by Lysander, who challenges us to a battle. The fierce competition begins as Lysander sends out Mienfoo and I respond with Carlo. Carlo quickly sets up Reflect, but Mienfoo surprises us with a critical high jump kick. Managing to KO Carlo despite the Reflect, holding an Eviolite, and being a Psychic type. Now, how was that possible? I was planning to evolve Kadabra into an Alakazam after the Team Flare fights, but unfortunately it won't happen. I then send out Opal to finish it off with a Play Rough. Next, he sent out his Haste, Gyarados, which lowers Opal's attack with an Intimidate. Gyarados uses a super effective Iron Head, but thanks to Reflect, only deals minor damage, although it flinches Opal. On the next turn, Opal is hit by a critical Iron Head that almost knocks him out and causes another flinch. That was close. Switching tactics, I bring in Marjorie, who finishes off Gyarados with a quad-effective Thunderbolt. Lysander sends out Murkrow to counter Marjorie. I switch to Cherry and Murkrow uses Foul Play. Cherry defeats Murkrow with an Aura Spear. Pyro suffers the same fate, leading the score to 1-0. Oh great, more clowns join the party. You won't outsmart me this time. By pressing this button, we activate the ultimate weapon that can destroy the entire world. The ultimate weapon turns out to be a giant flower. Round 2 begins with Mienshao facing Marjorie. Marjorie swiftly outspeeds and knocks out Mienshao with her Psychic. He then sends out Pyroar, and I switch to Opao. Pyroar lands a Fire Blast, dealing significant damage. Pyroar continues to outspeed, hitting Opao with another Fire Blast that leaves him in the red. Opao counters with a critical hit Power-Up Punch, reducing Pyroar to yellow. I then switch back to Marjorie to tank Pyroar's Fire Blast. Marjorie outspeeds and eliminates Pyroar with a Psychic. Next, he sends out Honchkrow, which Marjorie destroys with a super effective Thunderbolt. And the same goes to Gyarados. Our furry cat sets the score to 2-0. Our friend Callum joins us on our side to take out Team Flare admins along the way. Shauna also decides to tag along. A group of Team Flare admins block our way from stopping the ultimate weapon, but we manage to defeat them all. Upon activating the ultimate weapon, it releases the legendary Pokemon Yveltal. Since the game requires you to capture it, I opt to use my Master Ball to effortlessly catch it and named it Harbinger. Lysander transforms for round 3 looking like Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man. The final round begins with Mienshao and I initially send out Harbinger. The game mandates the use of Yveltal once caught, so I then switched out to Marjorie. This allows Mienshao to use Swords Dance unchallenged. Marjorie quickly finishes Mienshao with a stab super effective Psychic. Next, Lysander sends out Pyroar. Switch to Jansen, who faces a Fire Blast from Pyroar. Jansen's Bulldoze deals minimal damage, and Pyroar counters with the Hyper Voice, reducing Jansen to yellow health. They switch Marjorie back in the fray. It takes a Hyper Voice, halving her health. Marjorie then executes a Fake Out and a Psychic combo eliminating Pyroar. Honchkrow is next. I send out Opao to apply Intimidate, but Honchkrow lands a critical hit Night Slash. Honchkrow continues to outspeed with a super effective Steel Wing, while Opao uses Charm to reduce its attack. The next round, I use Protect with Opao to heal slightly with leftovers, and Honchkrow's subsequent Steel Wing is weakened. After another Charm, I switch to Cherry as Honchkrow uses Steel Wing. Cherry sets up a Calm Mind, but Honchkrow hits a critical hit Aerial Ace, bringing Cherry to the yellow. Cherry then one-shots Honchkrow with the Nora Spear. Lysander sends out his ace Gyarados. I activate Mega Evolution for Cherry, transforming her into Mega Lucario, just as Lysander does the same for Gyarados. Being 4 levels apart and bolstered by a Calm Mind, Cherry's Aura Sphere swiftly defeats Mega Gyarados, securing our victory in the final round. We can get a U-turn TM from this old lady waiting for a train. We got a call from Professor Sycamore just to challenge our furry friends. The fight opens with Venusaur and Marjorie. Marjorie takes out Venusaur with a Fake-Out Psychic combo. Next, Blastoise enters the battlefield. Marjorie hits it with a Thunderbolt, sending it to the red, while Blastoise retaliates with an Aqua Tail. One last Thunderbolt KOs Blastoise. Professor's last Pokemon is Charizard, who got hit by a super effective Thunderbolt. Charizard responds with a Wing Attack, and one last Thunderbolt beats Charizard. Moving on to Route 19, I'm about to cross this wooden bridge, and I was forced to battle with 3 of our friends, Shauna, Tierno, and Trevor. Boy, they weren't that hard to beat. At Route 20, we can now expand our team by catching a Zoroark, another furry fox. We name him Marlon, and he has a relaxed nature, increases defense, reduces speed, terrible nature of choice. Sometimes I get frustrated at the 8 gyms puzzle. For the last gym battle, it's time to face the ice specialist Wolfreak. He sent out Abomasnow and I sent out Marlon, disguised as Jansen. Marlon goes for a nasty plot, and Abomasnow went for an Ice Beam, sending Marlon to the yellow, and also taking out Disguise. But that doesn't faze Marlon as he goes for a quad-effective charcoal-powered flamethrower to take out Abomasnow. Hail brings Marlon to the red, but I decided to stay in. To one-hit KO his next Pokemon Cryogonal with another charcoal power flamethrower. Wolfreak's last Pokemon is his ace, Avalugg, with a monstrous defense but a terrible abysmal special defense. Another flamethrower seals the deal to win us our final gym badge. Isn't it wonderful to slide out of this gym? At Route 21, we patiently wait for our next encounter, a Dragonair, whom I named it Jint. Jint has a timid nature, plus speed and minus attack. Perfect as we will build a special attacker. The level cap of 65, Jint manages to evolve into a Dragonite, one of the members of my top 10 most favorite Pokemon of all time. And that is all the encounters we have for the top 5 furries. At Victory Road, Callum challenges us one last time to determine who is the strongest trainer. Battle begins with Meowstic and Marlon, disguised as Cherry. Meowstic opens with a priority fake-out, causing Marlon's illusion to wear off. Next turn, Marlon outspeeds and takes down Meowstic with a stab's super effective Dark Pulse. He then sends out Altaria, and I switch to Jansen as Altaria responds with Confide. We exchange several Confides over the next turns, until Altaria had enough. Altaria unleashes a Dragon Pulse that deals minimal damage thanks to previous Confides. I then switch to Opao, and Altaria uses Confide. Following this, Altaria goes for a Dazzling Gleam, but Opao one-shots Altaria with the Plate Rough. Next, Callum sends out his ace, Greninja. The AI must have gone loco. Why would you send out a Dark type against a Fairy type? Greninja speeds with an Ice Beam. Shockingly freezes Opao. I guess it heard me trash talk its AI. I switch to Cherry to absorb an Ice Beam. Greninja outspeeds again and hits with a Dark Pulse, but one Aura Sphere from Cherry finishes it off. Next, Callum sends out Flareon. I switch to Jit, who gets hit by a lava plume that burns him. However, as Jit is a special attacker, that burn isn't too concerning. Jit uses Surf, bringing Flareon to the yellow, and Flareon goes for a bite. Another Surf knocks out Flareon. Absol comes out as I switch back to Cherry, then Absol uses Swords Dance. Cherry ends the battle with an Aura Spear, granting us the final victory over our rival. The veteran trainers here are no joke, and I'm finding it tough to handle them. It's been so challenging that I didn't expect Marlon to be defeated by a fellow furry, an Alakazam. If Carlo were calling from the heavens questioning, why didn't you evolve me into an Alakazam? Ironically, in all our defeats, the casualties have been foxes. Rest in peace, Marlon. And for that, Opao avenges Marlon with a crunch. I thought I had run out of encounters until I noticed one more dragon in Victory Road. A Druddigon. I caught our last furry and named him Migs. Migs has an adamant nature which boosts attack and reduces special attack. We are about to finish the run and here is our furry combatants. Migs the Druddigon, Jint the Dragonite, Marjorie the Meowstic, Cherry the Lucario, Jansen the Charizard, and Opao the Granbull. We enter the Blazing Chamber to face one of the Elite Four members, the Fire Specialist Malva. He sends out Pyroar as I go for Jint the Dragonite. Pyroar attacks first and goes for a Hyper Voice, and Jint goes for Dragon Dance just to increase speed. The next turn, Jint now outspeeds and goes for Rain Dance. Another Hyper Voice from Pyroar, sending Jint to half. Jint heals with a Roost, and Pyroar goes for a critical hit Hyper Voice. Jint goes for a Rain Dance and Expert Belt powered Surf to one-hit Pyroar. Torkoal and Talonflame also got beat by Rain Dance and Expert Belt powered Surf in one hit, as the rain stops falling. Malva's last Pokemon, Chandelure, that has been defeated with a single Expert Belt powered Surf, to win us the battle. Guess I didn't need the Rain Dance, I think. Inside the Ironworks chamber, we face the Steel-type specialist Wickstrom. The battle kicks off with Klefki facing Jansen. A single charcoal-powered flamethrower from Jansen swiftly destroys Klefki. Wickstrom then sends out Probopass, prompting me to switch to Migs, who immediately gets hit by a Power Gem. On the next turn, Migs uses Protect to heal with leftovers, and follow up with a Night Slash to negate the effects of Sturdy, while Probopass counters with another Power Gem. The quad-effective Earthquake from Migs defeats Probopass. Next, Wickstrom sends out his Ace Aegislash. Switch back to Jansen, and Aegislash fails to use a King Shield. Jansen's flamethrower hits, but Aegislash survives and changes stance to deliver a Shadow Claw. After Wickstrom uses a full restore on Aegislash, Jansen capitalizes on its attack stance to finish Aegislash with another flamethrower. His last Pokemon, Scizor, who is highly vulnerable to fire, also falls to a single flamethrower from Jansen. 2 down, 2 to go. We entered the most stunning chamber, the Flood Chamber, where we encountered the water specialist Cybold. Battle begins with his Clovitzer versus my Opao. Clovitzer outspeeds with a stab and Mega Launcher powered Water Pulse reduced Opao to half. Opao retaliated with a super effective Thunderfang, but it wasn't enough to finish Clovitzer. I switched to Jint to tank the next Water Pulse. Jint then finishes off Clovitzer with a Thunderbolt. Cybold sent out his Gyarados next. Fearing for an Ice Fang, I switched to Marjorie. Gyarados opted for a Dragon Dance instead. And surprisingly, still outsped Gyarados despite its Dragon Dance. Marjorie lands a quad-effective Thunderbolt on Gyarados. Next, his ace, Barbaracle. I switched to Migs as Barbaracle used X-Scissor. Thanks to Migs' rough skin and his held Rocky Helmet, Barbaracle's HP was reduced. Barbaracle then used Stone Edge, but Migs countered and defeated it with a super effective superpower. Tybold's last Pokemon, Starmie, entered the fray. I switched back to Marjorie as Starmie launched a Dazzling Gleam. A Fake Out and a Thunderbolt combo for Marjorie wasn't enough to defeat Starmie. Starmie proceeds with a Light Screen. On the next turn, Cybold uses a full restore to heal Starmie at full. Marjorie responded with a Light Screen of her own. He landed another Thunderbolt, but due to Starmie's Light Screen, it dealt minimal damage. Starmie's Surf then brought Marjorie to yellow health, triggering her held Citrus Berry. To all out the Light Screen, I switched to Jin to tank another Surf, then switched back to Marjorie who took a critical hit from a Dazzling Gleam. Finally, a Fake Out and Thunderbolt combo from Marjorie defeated Starmie, securing our victory over Cybold. We entered the Dragon Chamber to face the last member of the Elite Four, Jasna, the Dragon Specialist. Started with Dragalge and I countered with Cherry. Cherry opened with an Earthquake, while Dragalge responded with a Surf. After Jasna used a full restore on Dragalge, Cherry hit it with another Earthquake, sending it to the red. Jasna used another full restore, and another Earthquake from Cherry. Finally, a Dragon Pulse from Cherry defeated Dragalge, as Jasna sent out her next Pokemon, Noivern. Anticipating a Flamethrower, I switched to Migs, but unfortunately, Migs got burned by the Flamethrower. I then switched to Opal, predicting a Dragon Pulse. Noivern hit it with an Air Slash instead. Another Air Slash from Noivern sent Opal to yellow, but Opal landed a Play Rough, knocking out Noivern. Jasna then sent out Altaria. I switched in Jansen and Altaria used Cotton Guard to boost its defense. Jansen used Confide to lower its special attack, but Altaria then put Jansen to sleep with Sing. After suffering a series of Dragon Pulses that reduced Jansen to yellow HP, I switched back to Opal to negate the Dragon Pulse. As Altaria attempted another Sing, I switched back to Jansen, who then endured the Moonblast, which dealt minimal damage thanks to the effects of Confide. They continued rotating Jansen and Opal to gradually heal Opal with its leftovers. Eventually, I kept Opal in, as Altaria missed a Sing, allowing Opal to use a Thunder Wave. After switching back to Jansen, who faced another Sing, I brought in Marjorie, who was hit by a Dragon Pulse. A Fake Out and a Psychic combo from Marjorie did minimal damage, but Paralysis allows another Psychic to bring Altaria to the red. Altaria puts Marjorie to sleep with Sing, as Altaria launched a Dragon Pulse. I switched back to Opal as Altaria remained paralyzed. And finally, a Play Rough from Opal defeated Altaria. Jasna's last Pokemon was Druddigon. I used Charm to reduce the damage from Retaliate, and a final Play Rough from Opal sealed their victory. We now enter the Cathedral to face the Pokemon League champion. Now it's time to prove to the entire Kalos region that Furries will dominate the Pokemon League. We now face the champion of Kalos, Diantha, who specializes in every types. The battle begins with her Howlucha facing my Marjorie. Marjorie uses a Fake Out Psychic combo to quickly defeat Howlucha. Next up is a Ghost-type Pokemon, Gourgeist. I switch to Jin and Gourgeist uses Trick or Treat to add a Ghost type. On the next turn, Jin defeats Gourgeist with a single Expert Belt powered super effective Ice Beam. Her next Pokemon is Aurorus enters. As I send out Cherry, Aurorus sets up a Light Screen. Cherry lands a stab quad effective Aura Sphere, almost knocking out Aurorus because of Light Screen. Aurorus barely hangs on and sets up Reflect. Diantha uses a full restore, allowing me to boost Cherry's special attack with Calm Mind. A misclick leads to Dragon Pulse instead of another Aura Sphere, and Aurorus retaliates with a Thunder. On the following turn, Cherry finishes Aurorus with an Aura Sphere. Goodra comes next. I opt for another Calm Mind, forgetting Goodra's Focus Blast, which thankfully misses. Cherry then defeats Goodra with a Dragon Pulse, and Tyrantrum falls to an Aura Sphere. Diantha's Ace Gardevoir enters with Grace, which is further amplified as Diantha activates Mega Evolution, evolving Gardevoir into Mega Gardevoir. Cherry uses Dark Pulse, sending Mega Gardevoir HP into half, and causing it to flinch. Wanting a Mega vs Mega showdown, I switch in Marjorie, who takes a Moonblast, dropping to yellow and activating her held Citrus Berry. Marjorie lands a little chip damage with Fake Out before I switch to Jansen, who takes a Shadow Ball. In the final turn, I activate Mega Evolution for Jansen, evolving him into Mega Charizard Y. A Drought-enhanced charcoal-powered Flamethrower from Jansen defeats Mega Gardevoir, earning us the title of Pokemon Furry Champion. All Nuzlocke rules aside as we face AZ in Lumio City, and his long-lost friend Floette returned to his giant loving hands. What a happy ending! And that's how I beat a Pokemon Y Hardcore Nuzlocke using only furry types. I was really surprised when I decided to go for the top 5 furry personas, not realizing that dragons are also considered furries.